Hello people, you're welcome to Pro Up Masterclass. My name is Tola Alabi, and in today's class we are going to be talking about having a niche and how having a niche can turn bad for you as a business owner. How having a niche can turn bad. Now, people that know me know I'm a big advocate for having a niche. When people ask me the question, should I have a niche, should I specialize, or should I generalize, I always tell people specialize. And for people that are listening to this that have never heard that word niching before, I'm just going to briefly explain it to you. Niching is when you have an area of specialization in your business. You are known for one area. There's one area that is your bread and butter, one area that is your area of expertise. For me, my area of expertise over the years has been logo design. People know me as a logo designer. I design logos for companies, for brands, and that has been my strong point. And as I've said before, I advise people over the years when they ask me that question, should I generalize or should I specialize? I always advise people to specialize. And I'll tell you why I give people that advice in this class. But this class, I'm going to be focusing on when people niche themselves into a box and niching becomes bad. In my last audio, I did a class on when businesses restrict themselves to being in a container. And the class, you might want to listen to it if you've not listened to that. It says you are more than a container. So it's the audio before this one where I talk about you being more than a container. And some people listened to it and were thinking, oh, so what are you saying? Are you saying we shouldn't niche? That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that you can niche to a point whereby niching becomes counterproductive for you as a business. And I will tell you how that can happen. Now, I want you to pay close attention to this class. I'm going to try to explain it. I hope it doesn't get confused at a point, but I'm going to try my best to explain it. It's largely unscripted, but I want you to pay attention and follow me. If you follow me, then I know you would get the message I'm trying to pass across in this class. Now, as I said, I've had the privilege of having a lot of Q&As with business people. A lot of them in the creative industry, a lot of them are not, some other people have not been in the creative industry, some of them have been in other industries, but there's a question that keeps coming up when I have Q&A sessions or ask me anything sessions on branding and businesses and business with business people. People ask that question a lot. Should I specialize? Should I generalize? And I've said earlier, I tell people to specialize. Now, the reason why I tell people to specialize over generalizing, the advantage of specializing or having a niche is that it makes it easy for people to remember you. It makes it easy for people to remember you. Now, this is something I learned the hard way. You see, when I started out my design business, I was into everything. I used to do logo design, web design, animation, motion, print. And when I spoke to people about my business, I would tell them, oh, if you have logo design needs or graphic design needs or web design needs or animation needs or motion design needs, call me. I used to list all these things out for people. And I used to say, if you have any of these needs, call me. And on my flyers or my marketing materials, I put it out there. I do web, I do logo, I do print, I do motion, I do animation. I used to put it all out there. And those were the early days of my business. And I realized nobody was calling me. And I tried to tell people the more, and nobody would call me for anything. And what used to shock me was when I met with some of these people, some of them were my friends or people I had known, and I knew that these people always had this kind of jobs, but they never called me. And I said, oh, I just saw that you did this design job or did this graphic design job. Why didn't you call me? And a lot of them would honestly tell me, you know what, I didn't remember that you did this. I didn't remember. And it used to be kind of frustrating. I used to take it personally a lot. It used to be something very personal for me. I used to feel very bad about it. That why wouldn't you remember? And I realized that I was giving people too much to do. And the human brain kind of works in a way whereby if it has too much to do, it shuts down. It gets rid of that information, especially if it feels it's not information it needs to use immediately. So the human brain is always trying to make space for important information. So the truth is, the less information you give people, the higher their chances of remembering it. And when I found this out was when I decided to say, you know what, let me just focus on logo design and just tell people, oh, I do logos. I make logos. That is my area of specialty. And ever since I made that decision, my phone has been ringing. People keep calling me, oh, I need you to do a logo, I need to do a logo, I need to do a logo. And that is why I came up with the name The Logo King, to further entrench it in people's minds of what I do, so that people can easily remember me. And it has worked for my business. And that's why I tell people, you know what, specialize. It makes it easy for people to remember you. It's just like when my wife would ask me to go to the store to get something. When she tells me, oh, we need eggs, we need milk, we need sugar, we need bread, we need this, sometimes I get to the store and I forget everything on the list. I'm like, okay, so what do we need? And I come back home, and I've come back home with less than half of what she has asked for, because that information was just too much, especially when I don't have it written down. But when she tells me, you know what, can you just pop up and get some water for us, or get sugar and stuff like that, I don't forget. I get to the shop and I buy exactly what I need. That's exactly how it is when you meet people and they ask you about what your business does and you give them a list of things. The truth is, most likely, their brain, they don't mean to, would disregard a lot of what you have on the list, if not everything you have on the list. So you want to give people a list of one thing. Now, that is the importance of niching. That is why you should niche. But that can go wrong when people don't apply it right. And this is where you need to pay attention to this class. Niching is not about creating a bus stop for yourself as a business person. It's about having an area of expertise or an area of specialization. So I want us to get it right. It's having an area of expertise, not creating a bus stop or restrictions for yourself not to engage in other things. But you are an area. You are a specialist in a particular area of your business. I'll try to explain it this way. Now, I'll use football. Now, there was a footballer called David Beckham. Now, his area of expertise, he used to play for Manchester United. He's an English player and played for Real Madrid and LA Galaxy, I think. And his area of specialty when playing was in taking free kicks. He used to take incredible free kicks. Incredible free kicks. I still haven't seen too many people take free kicks like him, apart from Cristiano Ronaldo. But his free kicks were incredible. He was the man. There was no debating who was going to take the free kick when it was time to take a free kick. It was David Beckham. That was his thing. But you know what? He used to do other things. He didn't just stand on the field and just say, okay, whenever you have a free kick, call me. I wouldn't play. You understand? He used to do other things. So he was still on the field doing other things, but his area of specialty was in taking free kicks. And that's where we need to understand what an area of specialty means. It's not a restriction. It wasn't about David Beckham sitting on the bench till a free kick opportunity came. In fact, there were some matches where he didn't have the opportunity to take a free kick, but he still played. But that was the area of specialization. And that is what I want us to understand here. Niching is not a prison. And it's important we understand it, because this is the reason why people in business are not making the impact they should be making in business, even when they are doing something they love. Because they see it as, oh, this is my niche, I cannot explore other things. No, that is not what a niche is. A niche is the beginning of a conversation. It's a conversation starter. It is not the end of a conversation. And I'll say that again. A niche is the beginning. It's not the end. The niche is the hook. It is not the boat. You see, it's just like in fishing. You have a hook. A hook is that shiny thing that has the bait that the fish see and they are attracted to. And they bite on that. Then you hook the fish. But it can't end with the hook. The hook must carry the fish into a boat or into a bucket. So it gives you the chance to go and get another fish and put it into something much larger. The hook is not the end of the story. If the hook were the end of the story, you would only catch one fish. And one fish is hardly ever enough for anybody. So the duty of the hook is to go in there and start the conversation with the fish, to get the fish into a much larger container so the hook can go back and get more fish. So niching cannot be a prison. A lot of times we read companies that have a niche the wrong way. So I meet people and they tell me, oh, what of a company like Mercedes-Benz? And I know when I talk about Mercedes-Benz, a lot of people think, oh, they niche in prestige vehicles. That is what they do. Mercedes-Benz, if I were to say, oh, what company deals in prestigious vehicles, classy vehicles, we will say Mercedes-Benz. But I will shock you. Do you know Mercedes-Benz also makes heavy-duty vehicles that are not prestigious? They have a line of heavy-duty vehicles that are not prestigious. They make haulage vehicles, trucks. As a matter of fact, they are so good at making haulage vehicles that one of their trucks, I think the Mercedes Actros, is listed as the number 5 most powerful truck in the world today. Before Ford and all those other heavy-duty Dodge and no, Mercedes-Benz is number 5. They have the number 5 most strongest vehicle, heavy-duty vehicle in the market today, the Mercedes Actros. But we don't know that because their hook is their prestigious cars. SLKs, CLKs, JLKs, we have, those are the things that we bite. But Mercedes-Benz is way more than that. I would even shock you further. Do you know Mercedes-Benz has a financial services? They're into financing people. So they're also into the financial institution. They're also a financial institution. They finance people that go into Mercedes-Benz dealership. So they know about financing. They have Mercedes-Benz financial services. I would even go further. Do you know Mercedes-Benz has a stadium where they host football matches in the US, in Atlanta? It's not just a small stadium. It's a stadium with the capacity to hold 77,000 people. 77,000 people, that's a lot of people. That's way more than Old Trafford. Maybe not way more, but more than Old Trafford. It's in Atlanta. But we wouldn't know these things. So we will think they are niche and all they do are the classy vehicles. But that is just the hook. That is the hook. They do way more things. But their area of specialization, the beginning of the conversation, the way you remember them, is with the prestigious vehicles they make. And that is why you have a niche. A niche is not to restrict you. Because when you start niching, you start making more money. And when you start making more money, you need to express it on a larger scale. So that means, as a logo designer, as someone that is niched in logo design, I start getting more clients. The truth is, I shouldn't get more clients to sit down with logo design. When I start getting more clients and start getting paid more, I should start getting other people who have specialized in other areas to work with me, that I can deliver more to the clients that engage or start a conversation with me as a logo designer. So after designing their logo, they might say, oh, we want to do our signage. I should have an expert who makes signages with me in my company. After doing their logo, they want to do their website. I should have an expert who I can work with to deliver. But the truth is, on the front burner, I'm always selling the logo design because that is my area of expertise. That always starts the conversation. That is the hook. But the hook cannot become a prison. The truth of the matter is, when we niche, there's something called the end of a niche. You get to the end of a niche, and when I say the end, I'm talking about the pinnacle, the tip of a niche. You get to a place where you niche to the top of your career. It's the end of a niche. And when you get to that end of a niche, what do you do? Now, what you do determines whether you are going to be impactful or you are going to be redundant when you get to the end of a niche. The truth is that what a lot of people do when they get to the end of a niche, when they become the go-to person in an industry, is that they rest. They rest, they pause, they relax. That's the end of their career. They become redundant. And there's nothing that saddens me more than seeing somebody who used to be very well positioned with a niche sit down in that niche and become redundant. It's a very, very sad thing, because we see the end of a niche as an achievement. It is an achievement, but it's not an achievement to end a career. It's an achievement to open up to something bigger. And this brings me up to what you should do when you reach the end of a niche. When you reach the end of a niche, where you are the go-to person, you are the go-to person in making prestigious vehicles, you express in doing something else. You express, you look for a larger platform to express your brand. That is how the journey of a business should go. You niche, you make a particular amount of influence, you have a particular amount of influence, you get to a point where you are at the peak, you become the go-to person. You become the poster boy, the poster girl of that your industry that you've niched in. What do? You don't rest. You look for a higher platform to express. And most of the time, you don't even need to look for it. It comes calling. The opportunity presents itself. But the problem is that a lot of people become so closed-minded that they feel their job description is who they are. But your job description is just an expression of your gifting, of what you know how to do. So the moment I start seeing myself as a logo designer, that becomes my job description. It becomes my cage. it eventually becomes my prison. I must see myself as a creative that is currently expressing his creative skills through logo design. That's different from seeing myself as a logo designer. You see what happens when I see myself as a logo designer? When something else comes, when I reach the point, the pinnacle, and someone offers me something that would help me to better express my skills, but they don't call it logo design, I will turn it down because it doesn't fit the prison cell of logo design. But you must see your job description at every point as an expression, a channel. It is not the source. It's an expression of something greater value that you have within you. So as a business, that must be the way we see things. It must be a willingness to express on a bigger stage. And that's why when we see some people, we're like, oh, why did this person leave this industry to go into this industry? The truth is that all they just changed is the expression. The soul and the core is still the same. And to illustrate this, I would give the example of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, I know a lot of people are familiar with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'm going to use him as an example for this, to make an illustration here. Now, a lot of you know Arnold Schwarzenegger as an actor. A lot of you know him as an actor. So you remember Arnold Schwarzenegger, but you think of the Terminator. But those who know Arnold Schwarzenegger well enough will know he started out as a bodybuilder. He was a bodybuilder. That's what he started out as. He was a bodybuilder. He was not just any bodybuilder. He was a very, very well accomplished bodybuilder. He won the Mr. Universe title, I think about four times. He won the Mr. Olympia title 7 times, an impressive 7 times. As a matter of fact, that was the highest, that was the record for a very long time till some people, I think 2 other people won it 8 times. And that's the record today. But he won it 7 times. He reached the top of his career. It was anybody that had reached that point would have felt, okay, I've reached the top of my career. This is the best I can do. Because he wanted to express himself as a powerful, strong man. But then an opportunity came to act. You see, if Arnold Schwarzenegger saw his gift, or let them put it this way, if Arnold Schwarzenegger saw his job description as who he was, he would have seen himself as, I'm a bodybuilder, not an actor. I don't act. I'm a bodybuilder. So if the expression is not in bodybuilding, I'm not doing it. But Arnold Schwarzenegger just saw himself as a strong, powerful man expressing himself through bodybuilding. And when the opportunity came to express himself as a strong, powerful man through acting, he took the opportunity. And that is the story we know. He acted in Conan the Barbarian, acted in Terminator, I think about 4 Terminators, or 5. He acted in Predator, End of Days, Eraser, so many movies that did well, had good box office outings. But this was a man who some years ago was a bodybuilder. But he got to the tip of that career. He got to the end of that niche and decided to express himself as an actor. You see, when he started acting, he was still expressing himself because his roles were normally strong, powerful man. You understand? So, the substance, the core had not changed. The expression had changed, but the core, the value of being a strong, powerful man had not changed. Arnold Schwarzenegger went a step further to express himself when he reached the tip of his acting career. You see, if you stay in that niche when you're at the tip for too long, you start getting boring. Then you start losing out. The niching becomes counterproductive. So you see, but at that time when he had acted so many movies as the action man, he was the powerful man, he was the muscle man, and everybody was used to seeing it. When you see Arnold Schwarzenegger, you expect him to take off his shirt and show his muscles and show his fighting skills and stuff like that. That was what you already saw it coming. It became boring. He had another opportunity to express himself as a powerful, strong man, and that was through politics. The opportunity came to run as the governor of California. Now, if he saw acting as who he was, not as a form of expression, he would have said, I'm an actor, I'm not a politician. And he would have let go of that opportunity. But you know what? Arnold Schwarzenegger was way smarter than that. He said, this is another opportunity for me to display myself as a strong, powerful man, able to bring change, express this in a different way. And was governor of California for a very long time. You see, this is someone that expressed himself in 3 different ways, but still in a position of strength and power. So when people were voting, they were voting for, oh, this is the Terminator. I'm voting for the Terminator. If he can bring change in the movie, he can bring change in reality. You see, don't niche yourself into a prison. Niche in a way whereby you always look for a higher form of expression of your niche, of your skill. Always seek a higher form of expression. So niching can turn bad when you refuse, number one, to admit to the fact that you have reached a point where you've reached the end of your niche, and you now say, oh, this is the point where I'm going to rest, where I'm going to become the chairman of this particular sphere I am in right now. So right now it's time for me to rest. No. When you reach the top of your niche, the end of your niche, it's time for you to express yourself like Arnold Schwarzenegger on a greater level, on a bigger platform, because the opportunity will come. But never say, I am a this. You see, a lot of people turn down great opportunities because they feel they are their job description. I'm a nurse, not an administrator. I'm a teacher, not a local government chairman. I'm a graphic designer, not a politician. I'm a pastor, not an author. You see, we put ourselves in prison when we do that. And sometimes we laugh at the people that take this opportunity. Like we laugh at Ben Carson. See, Ben Carson, surgeon, successful surgeon. But he saw the opportunity. He said, look, I'm more than a surgeon. I help people. I bring solutions to people's problems. And I can use this same skill to help America. And you can see that he I think it was the last election or 2 elections ago in the US, he contested for president. A lot of people laughed at him and said, why did you leave the hospital? He left the hospital because he had reached the end of that niche. He should be applauded. The same thing will come down to Nigeria. We see people like Fela Durotoye. We say, oh, this guy is just a motivational speaker. Why is he running for president? Why is he going into politics? Because he has reached the end of a niche. There is a restlessness within him to express himself on a bigger level. Yes, he lost out on this expression, but on the election, but he can't stop. He needs to keep going to express himself till he achieves, and he will if he doesn't give up, till he achieves that expressing himself on a larger scale. The same thing we look at Banky W. And like Banky W should stick to singing music. Why is he going for local government anything? Because he sees himself as more than a musician. He sees that he's somebody that can bring change and joy to people's lives. You must see yourself as more. Don't niche yourself into a prison. Don't niche yourself into a prison. If I'm going to give one last example, you look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump was a businessman, real estate. That's what he did for a very long time. That's how he made his name. He wrote books on real estate. He was a real estate mogul. But then the opportunity came, express yourself, and they approached him with The Apprentice. He could have said, I'm into real estate, I'm not into reality TV. I'm not into that. Real estate, look for an actor to do reality TV. But he took the opportunity, and he became a bigger expression of being a business mogul on The Apprentice. You see, he left the level of other real estate moguls and became something much bigger than that, while other people became real estate moguls that you never heard about. And when he came to the end of The Apprentice, he said, you know what? I can be the president of the US. He didn't just see himself as, I'm a real estate person, or I'm a reality TV star. He said, this is just an expression of me as a business person. I'm a business person. I make profit. I help turn things around, turn the fortunes around of businesses. And to him, he felt, I can do this with the entire country. Now, whether or not he did it is by the way. The truth is that he saw the opportunity and he took it. Are you taking that opportunity? Or are you restricting yourself by saying you are your job description? I really hope that someone listening to this right now understands that niching is not the end of a conversation. It's the beginning of the conversation. It's the hook. It's not the boat. So learn to open your eyes and watch out for opportunities. And sometimes when you should be saying yes instead of saying no to opportunities around you. And you realize that by doing this, you would have more impact. People will look at you and say, oh, this girl, she was just at this. How did she become this? Or this guy, he was just at this. How did he become that? Because you didn't see yourself as a job description. You saw your job as an expression of a greater value that you have within you.